Hey guys, welcome to another video. This time around I'm going to be talking about the G7X Mark II. So I'm going to talk about my experience because I'd like to say I've owned it for right around 3 years now. And I'm going to compare it to the G7X Mark III, which is the next model up. If you guys have already subscribed, thank you guys for watching my content. If you haven't, subscribe below and hit the notification box, and also like this video and check out the million other, well, not quite million, but check out the other videos I have. And without further ado, let's get to it. I'm going to start off with autofocus. Well, first of all, there's going to be more of a comparison between the G7X Mark II and the Mark III. So if you want just a review of the Mark II, then you can check up here in the corner. So for the Mark II, I'm going to start off with the autofocus. Based off my research, I've noticed that the G7X Mark II generally autofocus is quicker than the Mark III, whereas for the Mark III you get better quality. So you have crisper images or videos if that's what you're filming. Generally for vlogging, I feel like I generally would prefer the G7X Mark II because it's quicker at autofocusing, so you're not having to wait however many minutes, well, not minutes, but however many seconds longer that it would take. And so that for me is definitely more ideal. Hopefully they have like a G7X Mark IV, which like has the best aspects of the Mark II and the best aspects of the Mark III, but I would have to say for autofocus, I'm probably still gonna go with this. So another difference I've noticed between the Mark II and the Mark III is the microphone input. So whereas on this right here, there is no microphone input, and that's actually something that I did not like about this. On the Mark III, there is one. So it would be right here with the HDMI. And I feel like Canon have been listening to all the customers' requests because this was like a big deal breaker for a lot of people I know as far as getting the Mark II. But now that the Mark III has it, it's gonna make the sound a lot crisper, and you don't have to deal with this microphone if you don't want to. So there's another thing that the Mark III has over the Mark II. I feel like for me, it doesn't quite matter. Maybe for some it might, but the fact that the Mark III is a lot more lightweight than the Mark II. So for example, if you're like packing and you have a carry-on and you need your luggage to be within a certain range, I guess that's when it would come in handy. But as far as the weight, for me, like this Mark II as is already light. So for me, it doesn't make too much of a difference. I'm very fine with this weight as is. So I feel like the second biggest factor, other than the microphone input, that gives the Mark III a leg up over the Mark II is the fact that you can essentially use this without a battery. And the way that would work is that you would plug in your charger into the port right here, into the HDMI port, and you could literally take your battery out and it would still film. So especially if you're filming a video like this, it would make it so much easier because you just need to plug this into an outlet, and well, you're good to go. You could have your charger charging somewhere else, and when that's done, boom, put it right in and be good to go. So that for me is a big thing because I feel like, especially these days, I film a lot of videos where I'm sort of sitting, talking to a camera, and I feel like having the chance to have my battery charged separately while I'm still filming would be a big leg up. So one thing that the Mark II has over the Mark III is the fact that the Mark III tends to overheat. So while for the Mark II, you could probably use this for hours, I don't exactly know how long the battery life is because I generally, like, I have my portable charger, so when the juice is out, boom, I charge it and keep going. But in the case of the Mark III, if you're overheating, it's going to take time away from your vlogging or from your photography because you're going to have to let it cool down. Whereas for the Mark II, that's not an issue. I feel like that is a big thing for me because especially when I'm shooting cars, which is what I do mainly, I sort of need to be on it. I need to have my stuff ready to go. And if I'm shooting all day, and then it just like overheats and I can't use it for the next 20-30 minutes until it cools down, then that's a little bit of an issue, which is why I'm still sticking with this. As far as my personal experience, overall this has been a really solid and dependable camera. I really haven't had too many issues with it. I feel like one of the few things that you should look out for is the screws. So the way it works is, of course, you have the screen where you can vlog, so I can hold it out, boom, and I'm vlogging. Turn it on, boom, and I'm vlogging. But one thing you want to take into consideration is the screws, especially along the bottom and some of the ones along the top, because if you're not paying enough attention, they sort of like start wiggling a little bit, and you can hear mine wiggling, meaning I have to screw it in to make sure it's tight. because my sister actually owns a G7X Mark II and she vlogged with it a bunch, and she actually lost one of the screws and had to get it replaced. So that's definitely one thing to look out for. In my opinion, I feel like the G7X Mark III is probably better for photography because you're gonna get crisper pictures, you're gonna get brighter colors, whereas for the G7X Mark II, if you're daily vlogging, you want something that's, well, this, because it's a lot quicker to autofocus, because, I mean, you're still really not getting that much less as far as the quality of the video, but I feel like I'm still gonna stick with this. I feel like if the Mark IV comes out, I might do a review or do some research on that, but I figured I would share this video with you guys because this was sort of information I had in my head, and I was like, maybe I should share it with someone because it might be of use to somebody. So yeah, that's all I know about this camera. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely stay tuned for more content, and I'll catch you guys later.